and welcome to the Bogota Board of Education work session/action meeting, January 14, 2020 at 7 p.m. Can you please stand for this pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Bogota Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Bogota Borough Hall, communicated by letter to the record, filed with the clerk of the Borough of Bogota, and posted on the Bogota Board of Education website. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Sellerings?
Here.
Mrs. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Marquette?
Here.
Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Yeah.
Mrs. Van Buren?
Present.
Ms. Montgomery? Absent. Mrs. Coulson?
Here.
We have the quorum.
Thank you. Also present is Mr. Kennedy, the Superintendent, Nathaniel Simon, the Board Attorney, Mr. Epsel is our Board Administrator, and Elizabeth Ruiz is our Assistant Board Secretary. At this time, can I have a motion to open up to hearing of public comments?
So moved.
Renat, seconded by Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, if anybody would like to come forward, public comments on agenda items only. Okay, no one coming forward. Can I have a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Pat, seconded by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's report?
Okay, I got a couple of things tonight. First, next week is our QSAC visit from the county. We've been preparing that for the last 2 years. We got over a couple of indicators already where our testing scores already met the criteria and our curriculum has been looked at, and we've gotten all thumbs up on that, so we just have to go through the other indicators, and this is something that I've been here 10 years that we have never passed the first time, so we're really trying to do a good job and have them come in, see what we're doing, see the progress we're making, and hopefully pass, and then we won't have to see them for 3 years. The building audit was completed by the architect, and it is a very detailed report. I'm going to be sharing that in the drive very soon with everyone and a building and grounds committee. But also the architects will be coming in February to give us a little presentation on the report itself. And it's everything from nuts and bolts to light fixtures. And it gives us a map of what we need to start looking for, what we need to start saving for, and what are going to be some major projects coming up in the next couple of years. Instead of waiting for something to break, we want to start being a little bit more proactive. So that's on its way down. Also next week, we will be interviewing candidates for the vacant board seat next week, and that will be done in public. And we just received 3. We didn't receive any today by the deadline. So we have 3 candidates, and they will be interviewed next week. And then lastly, just to make this public, it was in the paper today, our football team is joining a new conference. Over the last 5 years, we've struggled with numbers. We struggled to put a varsity team on the field every game. And unfortunately, we're in the same situation of 5 or 6 other schools in Bergen County because we are a small Group 1 school. So what they have decided to do is create a smaller conference for these schools, and it will be a yearly membership. So if we feel our numbers have improved, if we have more seniors that year, then we can go back up to the other conference. The only downside to this conference is that we already say we are not going to compete in the state tournament, which is twofold because we haven't been there in a couple of years anyway, and what we're most concerned about is having kids safe on the football field. Because of this new conference, if we don't go into it, the other conference that we have been in, which we've been having a tough time in, has actually gotten better because they've moved some teams down who are above us. So the athletic director, the football coaches, I met with them twice, and they're all on the same page. They think what is best for Bogota football next year and with the idea that this is going to help maybe get some more kids out, winning some games at home, and keeping some kids around with the idea of moving back up when we have the numbers and we feel we can be competitive. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to education. 1/21/2001 to 1/21/2012. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, point number 3, we know 60 students as well.
I can find out.
Anybody else?
Would it be a good idea maybe to welcome the same guy?
I would have to find out that they might have coming on, but I'm assuming it's a scheduling conflict.
I mean, it's only 6 minutes.
But at the same time,
That's key.
I have to find out what exactly is going on there.
Or at the, yeah, that would be a good idea.
What, how Bixby go to Steve?
Yeah, so they both do it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I just gotta see if it fit.
Or maybe the high school?
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Why do it twice if you do it once?
I would say this, but, and dealing with, when we have these, activities, smaller groups, you get your message across a little bit more. When you put 100 kids in a room sometimes, your message doesn't get across to everyone. So I would have to find out exactly what the assembly is and what goes on. Like, sometimes they want a smaller group, they prefer doing it, but I have to find out exactly what it is.
Anybody else have anything? No? Okay, move on to personnel. 1/21/2013 to 1/21/2018. Any discussion? Kathy,
I apologize, I should have asked a question on number 5, but.
do you want to go back?
No, I'll kind of just combine them.
Okay.
On number 13, it says we're approving 2 teachers for home instruction, but the one individual, we've already approved in number 5. So is that person new to doing this, or was she already?
We already had a bunch of teachers approved,
Okay.
and we have a few more kids now, so we want to approve a few more, and specifically, teachers have to go in for home instruction for specific grades. So the one in number 5 is technically a math teacher, so these other teachers, I think, are English, and we're going to see what other teachers are.
I just know that we've already approved for number 5, and maybe we just be ratifying the 13?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We can't be approving it, we already.
Well, number 5 is just for the
It's for that student, I think, that after we approve her tonight.
Year, no matter what other students come along.
But if the person, if the person in the resolution is not already been appointed to do home instruction.
I think the idea is that after she gets approved, like that student, she specifically, in other words, I think we have to send it to her. This is just because.
I'm not questioning her doing the job, it just seems like we're sending the instructor before she's been approved as an instructor.
Correct, but I think we have to. Like, I don't think, in other words, if we have to provide home instruction. It's like after 10 days, we have to send the teacher in. So I think we're just going through this because that student specifically needs it, and we want to make sure that they're approved after the fact.
You get my concern?
The education resolution is mainly for the student getting home instruction.
Okay.
Personal is mainly about when they provide that service they
So
get.
we're gonna approve her and approve her for the moment.
Right,
Yes, that's the same.
It would be better if it's after, but
Yeah,
All right,
but
okay, so we can, on number 13, can we just say we're ratifying it? We've already appointed it or something?
but
Well, it's
then,
on the same
But
agenda, I think it's just
it's-
the where it's located. You know what I'm saying? It's just that education comes before personnel,
the
that's the
personnel,
only reason.
yeah,
I mean, if you want to, you know,
I'm just saying to ratify it.
we could move it.
but if you
I-
ratify it, then you're doing the other ones, the other ones too.
13 is for 24.
Yeah, right.
Five is for one, so then we can ratify it.
He's ratifying the resolution. Ratifying the resolution. I'll let them.
Is that all you got? Yes. All right. Anybody have anything else on personnel?
Wait a second, we're going to 18?
Yep.
Okay, number 18,
specialist. This is right below it, that as someone's working towards it, the county's allowing us to put it in.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to finance, 1/21/2019 to 1/21/2027. Any discussion? No discussion? Okay. Move on to, well, we don't have any committee reports, because I just assigned them. Is everybody okay with their committee? Yes? Pat, did you see? Okay.
But,
Okay. Once we get the new board member, we'll put her in. Okay, does anybody have any old business? Kathy?
I was curious the status of the film, the safety film.
We were actually talking about today, we got some quotes back. It's a big chunk of change. So what we're doing next is a needs assessment. Maybe we're gonna start with front doors, some low-level door, windows that are directly in someone's eyesight. But we are in the process of moving that along.
Anybody have any new business? No? Okay.
I may have missed it, are we gonna do anything for the coronavirus thing?
Yes, usually they should be getting their jackets very soon. As soon as they get their jackets, usually they'll be calling them up. I believe cross-country won their division as well again, so we'll do something again for both.
Okay, good. Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, at this time, we'll open up public comments. Can I have a motion?
So,
Pat?
Second.
Second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, if anybody would like to come forward for public comments? Okay.
Hi, Carpenter, 42 Hill Street. Ms. Kennedy, you had said sometime this summer, or maybe a couple months ago, that you would get another survey on how many children is going to be coming in the 421 units. We had half of it. Did you get an update on that?
Yes.
And
Off the top of my head, I want to say 75 was the number they gave us. So I think I spoke about it one night a couple weeks ago where originally it was 75 for 220, but then unfortunately that person passed away, so we had to create a new one. So 75 was for the new one with the 420. So I believe we're anywhere between 50 and 200 is where, what we're given. They have a formula. I was waiting for our new committees, and I wanted to go through that first with them before we made that public.
okay. And I'm assuming, I don't know how you work, Ms. Kennedy, we are starting to make some plans on where these students are going to be housed. Because in that area, 75 alone is not going to make any sense.
Correct. We do have some plans. Again, we got the new board coming in, and I want to make sure we share everything with them first before. But we will be having to work with the town council and figure out what we are going to do, because we are going to have to do something. Without any expansion, we are already busting at the seams. So unless we want to start putting art and music on carts, which I think our district, we like that we don't have to do that, then we have to expand just with the numbers that we're getting to now. So it's something that we've been talking about, the board has been talking about, and I think in the next couple of months, this building audit had to be completed for us, and this demographic study, and then we're going to really lay out a plan moving forward over the next 2 or 3 years to figure out how we are going to accommodate what we have, and if there is any influx of students.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Sherry Solomon, 350 Larch. I just got asked on the live stream, this is on behalf of Jared Duchamp. Thank you, I always butcher his last name. Sherry, can you ask, and I quote, Sherry, can you ask if there is an volunteer, maybe any volunteers missing from varsity baseball coach for approval?
All right, also, we're going to have their address, too.
I did on my address, because I asked him for his, and he
Are there any volunteers? No, there's nothing on here yet. No.
Right now, what we approved are the head coaches. Volunteer coaches would be submitted through the head coach to the athletic director, then to me. So I will look into that tomorrow, asking if anyone has volunteered. I think Jared has volunteered in the past, so
Right.
unless there's something I'm not aware of, I don't see why that's going to be a problem.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank
Any other public comment? No? Can I have a motion to
So
close?
moved.
Pat?
Second.
Second by Jim, all in favor? Okay. Okay, at this time, we're going to be going into executive session, whereas C 231 PL 1975, also known as the Sunshine Law, authorizes a public body to meet in executive or private session under certain limited circumstances, and whereas said law requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting before it can meet in such an executive or private session. Now therefore be it resolved by the Bogota Board of Education that it does hereby determine that it is necessary to meet in an executive session on January 14, 2020 at 7:16 p.m. to discuss matters involving personnel and real estate. That the matter discussed will be made public if and when confidentiality is no longer required, and action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a public meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Pat, seconded by Jim. Action may or may not be taken upon return. We should be about 15 to 20 minutes. Motion to open back up to meeting at 7:52. Jim, second. Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Like
Pat,
second.
second. Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Like second.